Good morning. It's Friday, December 20th. This is the LaRouche Organization Update. I'm Diane Sare, LaRouche Organization President, filling in today for Harley Schlanger. We are just a few days away from Christmas, and we are about 4.5 weeks from the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. And Helga Zepp-LaRouche and others have warned that we are in the most dangerous period in human history because the collective Biden administration, the British Empire, and their billionaire controllers are desperate to make sure that their agenda for war and sabotage of the BRICS development process is not able to be disrupted by incoming President-elect Donald Trump. And I'm going to show you something, and we are going into a full mobilization on this, but I want to let you hear it in his own words. This is from Secretary of State Tony Blinken speaking at the Council for Foreign Relations on December 18th, and he just says it quite blatantly. So let's take a listen here.
My objective now, in the time that we have, is to make sure that we give the strongest possible hand to President Trump to play, if there's going to be a negotiation, to get a good one, to get a good arrangement, to get something that will allow Ukraine to move forward as a strong, independent country, and that will deter future Russian aggression. That would be a good deal. It would be a good deal for the Ukrainians, be a good deal for Europe, be a good deal for us.
Do you feel Russia can agree to a deal that doesn't take Ukraine's NATO membership off the table?
I think it's very, very challenging for Russia to do that, but good. And one level, let's have things that are useful in any kind of negotiation. Ukrainians will decide what they want to do about that future. And what I think we're hearing from President Zelensky and others is, as has been the case for some time, they're very much prepared to engage in a negotiation, but we have to have a just result, and we have to have one that's durable. And it's not going to be durable if it's not fundamentally just, and it's not going to be durable if it simply opens the door to future Russian aggression a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road.
Now, it's not going to be just or durable. I guess a nuclear Armageddon graveyard will be quite durable. There will be no one left alive. But you hear that they are deliberately sabotaging incoming President Trump, who said that no one consulted with him about the use of ATACMS being launched into Russia, which he said correctly is a big mistake and is escalating the conflict. Now, that very day, and perhaps Blinken was announcing this, apparently 6 more American-made ATACMS ATACMS missiles and 4 air-launched Storm Shadow cruise missiles were launched from Ukraine, directed at the large Kamensky chemical plant in Russia's southern Rostov region. So they intercepted 9 of the 10 incoming missiles. 1 Storm Shadow missile veered off course and caused damage to a technical building. So Tony Blinken is announcing that they want to undermine Trump's efforts to end this war at the very moment that 6 more ATACMS missiles are on their way into Russia. Now, let me share with you some comments from Russian President Putin, who says, and by the way, this was said at his press conference, and I'll tell you the beginning of it first. This is his year-end press conference where he takes questions. I understand this year there were 2.2 million questions being grouped by some sort of AI. I think if Putin were going to answer 2.2 million questions, he wouldn't be able to do anything else. But it's worth considering whether the collective Biden could answer so many as 3 questions, let alone millions or hundreds. So he was asked about people in the West claiming that they could easily shoot down the hypersonic Mach 10 Orezhnik missile, and Putin proposed the following. Well, if those Western experts you mentioned believe that, they should suggest to their employers and in the West and the United States to conduct a technological experiment. For instance, a high-tech duel of the 21st century. Let them identify a target in Kiev, concentrate all their air defense and missile defense systems there, and then we will strike it with Orezhnik. Let's see what happens. We are ready for such an experiment. Is the other side ready? So clearly, he's calling their bluff. Would they be willing to say, we can shoot down your missiles? Why don't we pick a target and we'll be ready for you? Won't happen. They know that Russia has the upper hand in their hypersonic missile, and Putin actually said that this transcends the need to use nuclear missiles because this missile is unstoppable, even if the West knows when and where it is being directed. Now, this is very important because there was a briefing given by General Gerasimov to the Russian Defense Ministry where he also said that there's no point in negotiating arms control treaties anymore. This is exactly what Lyndon LaRouche had said years ago for different reasons, but Gerasimov said correctly, there's no one in the West that's trustworthy. How can we negotiate arms reduction? All we can do is seek to supersede the technology. That's what they've done with Orezhnik. And this is something that Americans should consider. Now, otherwise, at the beginning of this conference, Putin began his remarks in response to a question about the economy and the global strategic situation that everything seems to be falling apart. He said, you know, when all is calm and life is measured and stable, we get bored. This amounts to stagnation. So we crave action. When action begins, time starts whistling by, or bullets do, for that matter. Unfortunately, bullets are what is zipping past our heads these days. We are scared, yes, but not as all get out kind of scared. Our economics are the ultimate measure of things. As is traditional, I will start with the economy. Although your question was a bit provocative, I will turn to the economy anyway. The economy is number one. It is the cornerstone. It has an impact on living standards, general stability, and the country's defense capability. The economy is everything. The economic situation in Russia is generally positive and stable. We are growing in spite of everything, in spite of any external threats or attempts at outside influence. As you know, last year, Russia increased its GDP by 3.6%, and this year the economy is expected to grow by 3.9% or possibly even 4%. So now think about Secretary Blinken's remarks that we want to put Trump in a strong position to ensure that Russia will no longer be an aggressor. Well, what has the Biden administration done? They have put us on the brink of thermonuclear annihilation. They have destroyed an already devastated U.S. economy, which has been in decline ever since the assassination of President Kennedy and since Nixon decoupled the dollar from the gold reserve system. But they have brought our economy into a hyperbolic collapse, standard of living, inflation, etc. And they've not hurt Russia. Russia is growing. Russia is not our enemy. So the world is in an extremely dangerous situation, particularly between now and the January 20th inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. This should not be construed to say that the danger ends at that point, but merely that this is a period of maximum instability. The LaRouche Organization and the Schiller Institute will be conducting, therefore, a mobilization throughout the holidays. Please watch this space for a leaflet, which will be written with marching orders, including calling your congressman to support HR 10218 to ban the use of ATACMS by Ukraine. You have to get those calls in there on that before the Congress goes out of session this week. So do that right away, but don't stop calling them on the danger of nuclear war. They should introduce a new resolution to stop this. The Congress can come in emergency session, invoke Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, as former Congressman Kucinich has said. The Congress is not using its constitutional powers to stop war. They can do this. So the mobilization will be going throughout the holidays. Later today at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Helga Zepp-LaRouche will be leading the International Peace Coalition call. You can get information for that on the Schiller Institute website, schillerinstitute.com. So please listen to that call for the latest updates. Obviously, we have to move with all urgency, and therefore this holiday season is not the time to sit around counting sugar plums, but to